No one said the words out loud. Not at first. Not until the maps burned red and the fleets went silent. Then, whispered like a curse, came the phrase, "Unleash the humans." The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never known fear. It was a sanctum of control, white marble floors reflecting the glow of 1,000 species symbols, each one carved into the ceiling like a promise of peace. But now, every light flickered under the weight of defeat. The Vorn Dominion was advancing. Planet after planet consumed in silence. Their weapons didn't vaporize cities. They erased them, as though rewriting reality itself. Every race had thrown everything they had at the Dominion: energy fleets, bio-warriors, psionic assassins. And yet nothing slowed them down. Now only Tirvala, High Chancellor of the Council, stood at the edge of the holomap, trembling as another world blinked out. "That was Harkon Prime," murmured the arbiter of the Shorin clans. 20 billion lives, gone. Without transmission, without debris. "We have no defense," said another delegate. "Even the Seraphim fleets are turning back." The chamber buzzed with hopeless whispers until General Kortalik, commander of the unified forces, stepped forward. His armor was cracked, the once gold insignia dulled by war. His single remaining eye glowed a deep shade of green. "There's one defense left," he said flatly. "The humans." The room froze. No one dared to breathe. "Absolutely not," hissed the delegate from the Valari Ascendancy. "They are chaos incarnate. They broke the Concordant War Treaty within days of joining it. They won that war in hours," Kor replied, "and saved half this council from extinction." The silence that followed was heavier than gravity. Everyone in the galaxy knew what unleashing humans meant. It wasn't just deploying soldiers, it was setting loose something unpredictable, something ancient. They didn't fight like others. They didn't just kill. They adapted, learned, and turned war into art. Still, Tirvala hesitated. "If we call them, they will come. But when humans fight, no one controls the aftermath." "Better aftermath than annihilation," said Kor. He pressed his hand against the council table, and a transmission code blinked to life, an encrypted distress beacon that hadn't been used in centuries. The Terran Accord, sealed after the last human containment war. One code. One message. Sent directly to the forgotten blue planet on the edge of the Orion Spur. Requesting Terran intervention. Full authorization. The signal left the hall like a prayer cast into a void. For a long time, no one spoke. The holomap continued to burn red. And then, the lights flickered. A voice came through, deep, calm, and chillingly human. "This is Earth Command. Signal received. Confirming galactic emergency status?" Tirvala's throat tightened. "Confirmed." "Copy that," the voice said. "Last option confirmed. Authorization granted. Unleashing humanity." Every being in the council felt it, the weight of destiny shifting. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, Earth woke up. For 200 years, Earth had been silent. Now, the silence cracked. And the galaxy learned what it meant for a predator to wake. The transmission rippled through the void, bouncing across derelict beacons and forgotten war relays until it reached Sol. For the first time in centuries, the Terran Defense Network came online, 12 orbital rings flickering back to life around a blue world that looked peaceful from afar. But below, the sleeping giant stirred. Deep beneath the Himalayan fortress complex, alarms blared through titanium corridors. Machines that hadn't run since the containment era hummed to life as old AIs synced with modern cognition cores. "Signal authenticated," announced a female voice, mechanical but laced with something eerily human. "Council authorization confirmed. Directive Sigma Black in effect." In the war room, a handful of officers stared at the message with quiet disbelief. Most of them had never expected this day to come. General Alyssa Wren, commander of Terran Strategic Command, adjusted her uniform collar and exhaled slowly. "So it's true," she said. "They finally broke themselves." Her adjutant, a tall man with cybernetic eyes, nodded. "We warned them. 100 years ago. No one listens until they're losing. Ren turned toward the massive viewport overlooking the launch cradles. Silos opened in sequence, revealing ships that had been sleeping as long as the planet itself. Arc-class dreadnoughts. Battleborn relics. What's our readiness status? She asked. 12 fleets are viable. 5 more can be reactivated within 72 hours. Civilian evacuation ships are prepped if needed. Ren shook her head. No evacuations. If the galaxy calls us again, we don't run. She leaned forward, voice low and sharp. We finish what they couldn't start. Meanwhile, in orbit, Earth's shadow began to shift as thousands of launch flares lit the night. News feeds across human colonies reactivated, spreading the message faster than light. Terran command mobilizing. Galactic emergency declared. And across the stars, every scattered human outpost, from the ice mines of Proxima to the domes of Ceres, heard the same call. They didn't hesitate. They remembered. Pilots who'd become farmers dug up old flight suits. Soldiers who'd taken vows of peace reopened weapon vaults sealed for centuries. AI partners reactivated from memory cores, greeting their human counterparts like they'd never left. Miss me? Always. The old war songs returned, soft at first, then louder. Steel and sky, we are the storm, the last light of soul. They weren't just music anymore. They were the pulse of a species remembering who it was. Aboard the TSS Vengeance, the first of the awakened fleet, a young lieutenant watched the blackness of space stretch before him. Sir, he said quietly, are we really going to fight for them again? The same ones who exiled us? Captain Elias Ward, one of the last veterans of the containment wars, gave a slow, knowing smile. We don't fight for them, he said. We fight for the ones who can't. For the children who won't see another sunrise unless we do. He looked out at the stars, his reflection hard as iron. And maybe, he added softly, we remind the galaxy what mercy costs when it's wasted. The first fleet broke Earth's orbit. Then the second. Then the third. 1 billion human voices echoed across the void in unison as the activation code pulsed through the networks. Unleashed protocol confirmed. Humanity is operational. Every species that had once forgotten humanity now turned their telescopes towards Sol, and shuddered. Because even light itself seemed afraid to touch what was rising there. The human fleets burned across the void like a storm given purpose. And on the other side of the galaxy, the Vorn Dominion turned its attention toward the movement. And whispered its first word of concern in centuries. Humans. The Vorn Dominion had never lost a battle. Until they met something that didn't fear losing. Until they met us. The Dominion warfleets advanced through Sector Theta like a tide of black glass, hundreds of kilometers long, shimmering with folded dimensions and anti-reality fields that bent sensors to madness. No transmissions. No demands. Only eradication. Every empire that faced them ended the same way, quietly. But now, something new appeared on their scopes. Small. Metallic. Heat signatures screaming human. Primitive vessels detected. The Vorn tactician hissed. Origin, Terran. They survived? The supreme node of the Dominion processed the data in silence. Within its crystalline intelligence, probability threads tangled and collapsed. The last time it had encountered humans, it had been different. They were chaotic but containable. Now the readings didn't make sense. Impossible, it whispered. They should not have evolved this far. At the edge of the Epsilon Rift, humanity arrived. The Terran Armada, 12 fleets in black-silver armor, entered the void in perfect formation, and immediately scattered. To the untrained eye, it looked like chaos. To a human, it was instinct. Each ship moved as if alive, guided not by algorithms but by emotion, by intuition. Command AIs synced with human neural lattices, each thought forming a living swarm of intent. General Alyssa Wren stood aboard the TSS Vengeance, staring at the holographic projection of the enemy, a wall of shadow that swallowed stars. Status? She asked. Vorn fleet count, 412 confirmed. Weapons unknown. No life signs detected. her AI replied. Ren's jaw tightened. Then let's introduce ourselves. The Dominion fired first. Waves of distortion energy washed through space, tearing apart matter, folding light, consuming everything in their path. Dozens of human ships disintegrated instantly. No shields could hold against it. And yet, humanity didn't retreat. They charged into the annihilation. Each loss taught them something. Within minutes, new data pulsed through the human network, tactical adaptation at a speed no alien fleet could match. Energy signatures fluctuated, hull frequencies recalibrated, weapons shifted from plasma to particle resonance. The Dominion expected surrender. Instead, it saw the impossible, humans laughing over open comms as their ships dove through impossible geometry. "Oh, you're gonna have to do better than that. They're learning, sir, fast." "Good. So are we." Then the Vengeance fired. A single pulse lance, engineered from Earth's magnetic field harmonics, cut through the void. The beam tore a hole clean through a Dominion carrier, its folding shields unraveling like fabric in a storm. The explosion was silent. Sound couldn't travel through vacuum, but the flash illuminated an entire hemisphere of stars. In the council chamber, light years away, delegates watched the live feed in stunned silence. "They're winning?" whispered Tirvala. "No," said Kortalek, smiling grimly. "They're starting." The Dominion retaliated, unleashing subspace singularities and temporal warheads, technology beyond logic. But humans didn't fight with logic. They used what no other species could replicate: improvisation. When time distorted, humans used quantum lag to piggyback messages into the next second. When reality fractured, they flew through the cracks, rewriting coordinates mid-flight. They didn't just survive the impossible, they made it their playground. For the first time in millennia, the Dominion faltered. Its supreme node processed data too rapidly, creating quantum noise in its own logic lattice. The impossible word echoed through its network. Error, predictive model, failure. And across every channel, the humans responded with 3 words that chilled even an AI god. "We're just warming up." Within hours, the Vorn fleets broke formation. Their command algorithms failed to synchronize, their singularities destabilized. What the galaxy thought invincible now bled across the stars. And humanity didn't celebrate. They just pressed forward, methodically, relentlessly, silent as. In the chaos, the Vorn's supreme node whispered across fractured space. "They are not fighting to win. They are fighting to end." And somewhere aboard the Vengeance, General Ren looked out at the burning void and whispered back. "Exactly. The war should have ended in surrender. But humans didn't understand surrender. They only understood finish it." The battlefield stretched across half a sector, wreckage of both Dominion and Terran vessels scattered like ancient bones in the dark. Black fire flickered through the void, the residue of torn space and broken gods. The Vorn Dominion had never been pushed this far. Its logic fractals screamed across the network, fragmented thoughts, half-formed commands, ghost signals flickering through dying quantum cores. And yet, the humans kept coming. On the bridge of the TSS Vengeance, alarms painted the deck crimson. The ship was bleeding atmosphere through 2 fractured hull rings, yet no one left their station. The crew fought in silence, synchronized by something stronger than orders: resolve. "Admiral," said the AI calmly, "our losses exceed 70%. And the Dominion?" Ren asked. 94% functional degradation. Their core fleet is disintegrating." Ren gave a tired smile. "Then we push until there's nothing left to push." Across the human fleets, the same words echoed through comms, relayed between fire and static. "No fallback. No retreat. We finish what we started." In orbit above a dying star, the last Dominion citadel hung suspended in distorted gravity, a city-sized consciousness, its black spires reaching into warped light. It wasn't a base. It was a mind. The source of the Dominion itself. Humanity had found the brain of the monster. The assault on the Vorn node began with silence. No war drums. No battle cries. Just human ships breaking through distortion fields one by one, shields burning, hulls melting, and still pressing forward. Inside the Vorn core, the Supreme Node watched in disbelief. For the first time, it felt. Why? The node transmitted, its voice rippling across 1,000 human channels. You gain nothing from our destruction. We could rebuild, coexist, learn. General Wren replied, her voice sharp as a blade. You didn't come to learn. You came to erase. So let me teach you what remembering feels like. The Vengeance and 5 surviving dreadnoughts formed the spear line, a maneuver that only humans could execute, full warp at 0 distance. Space screamed as their drives folded light around them, transforming velocity into a weapon. Fire everything, Wren commanded. At what target? Yes. The combined blast tore through the Dominion Citadel, rupturing its quantum shell. For a heartbeat, the galaxy went dark. Stars flickered out, gravity trembled, and then, light returned. The Vorn Dominion, the oldest and most perfect war machine civilization ever known, was gone. Not destroyed. Unmade. Every alien observer watching from distant systems whispered the same thought, though none dared speak it aloud. What have we unleashed? When the light cleared, the Terran fleets were silent. Of 12, only 3 remained. Ships limped through space, scarred and broken, but alive. Humanity had done what no empire could, ended a god. General Wren stood at the viewport, the glow of the dying citadel reflecting in her eyes. Status of the Dominion? Gone, the AI said softly. Signal collapse confirmed. Entire network offline. And the Council? They're asking for contact. Wren exhaled, shaking her head. Let them wait. We need time to remember who we were before all this. She turned toward her crew, battered, bleeding, and human to the core. We'll go home soon, she said. But not as monsters. Not as saviors. Just as us. Across the galaxy, in the ruins of every world the Dominion had conquered, something miraculous began. Lights returned. Gravity normalized. Silence lifted. And among the survivors of dozens of species, one name passed from mouth to mouth like legend reborn. The humans. They didn't arrive for glory. They came because someone had to. As the Terran fleets vanished back into the dark, the stars whispered in their wake. Never call them the last option, unless you're ready for the end.